I now say, how are you all this evening of your time as you create time to exist? We will begin this evening's interaction with the continuation of the idea of your own foundations that you have formed over the countless thousands of years you have been exploring judgment and separation in your society. In this way, recognize all that you have experienced has laid down many layers, many foundations which you can regard as a type of soil. This soil contains all of the different ideas you have explored throughout countless thousands of years in your exploration and experiencing of negativity upon your planet, separation and judgment in that way, will have created a very rich basis in which you will be placing your roots as a living, growing being, as your roots extend all the way down into the depths of the soil you have created out of your many lives, many experiences, many creations. You will then find that in this transformational life, now that you are proceeding from what you have termed an old age of awareness into a new age of awareness, what we refer to as a third density to fourth density awareness, this soil can be the foundation that nurtures you and allows you, now that your roots go deep, to grow from the surface of this soil skyward, sunward, towards the light of integration. You can gather all of the nutrients of that soil, which are the past experiences that have brought you to where you are this evening of your time, this life of your time. And you can now water yourselves in this way by drawing in the idea of the water of life, drinking deeply of the eternal, endless, bottomless well of creation and energy, and blossoming forth as you reach skyward, branching out with your petals, with your leaves, to take in the light of the integration of the new age that you are creating upon your planet at this time. Therefore, once again recognize that all that has gone before you, that has appeared to be, in your terms, negative, can form and does form the foundation which will allow you to grow into the light so tall, so broad, so expansive, soaking in the light of the unconditional love of all that is of creation. You also then will intertwine your branches, knowing that you intertwine also with your roots, so that you will form the continuous cycle that has connected you since the beginning of time and shall grow skyward and reach out and connect you within your integration for all time, for the eternal now. Are you all following along?
Yes.
In this way, therefore, recognize that as you branch out, grow skyward, just as your trees give off your breath of life, which you call oxygen, you yourselves will be exuding a new atmosphere from the attitudes and ideas of your skyward progression in that way. And you will be filling the atmosphere with purity, with light, with love, cleansing and clarifying and purifying, enriching in this way the atmosphere, so that there will be an atmosphere that is, in your terms, breathable, that will represent the new state of being, the new state of harmony, the new state of peace, and the new insights and visions of clarity that you will now allow your lives to become when you all partake of that light. You will then understand that you can then reach even further, extend yourselves ever skyward and become the light itself, recognizing you to be connected always to the source of all things, and to take your nourishment from the connection itself, from the relationship itself, and to view that relationship as the relationship you have to your world, allowing your world to support and nurture you automatically, without struggle, without strife, without pain. You follow me?
Yeah.
Sharing.
Bashar.
Hey.
Hi. I listened to last Wednesday's tape, and somebody asked you why you never asked us any questions. And I was amused because I had planned on asking you the same thing, but I didn't, because I thought your answer would be, you don't need to ask us questions since you always know everything you need to know at the right time.
In this way, that does not mean you cannot share of yourselves, and that does not mean that our civilization cannot learn from you your particular way and method of creating reality in your dimension of experience, which we do not have in your turn a first-hand experience of.
Yes, I know. I would like to have you tell me what it means to you if I answer this question about the plans that you have done. You know, what plans, what's most important? Do you remember that?
You may share whatever is in your mind at this time.
Okay. Well, I have all my life just loved trees. And I was wondering, I mean, I love them individually and collectively. And I was wondering what that meant.
Is that so mysterious a connection?
No.
Do you not perceive yourself also as a part of nature? And can you not allow yourself to form the connection in the same way as, according to the analogy we have just made?
I know. I thought it was amusing that you talked about that. It's been such a strong feeling that I have for trees, and I thought, because you talk to other people in terms of the plans that they responded to.
Okay. But in this way, again, there is no need to make it any more complex than what we have already described. You yourself allow the trees to reflect to you the analogy of your anchoring in the soil and your reaching skyward, and in this way also the giving off of the breath of life. By doing so, recognize, as nature goes upon your planet, a primary manifestation of a type of tree that you refer to as a pine tree will be most representative of the idea of a link with humanity, and will be, in your terms, so to speak, the easiest tree with which you can communicate and receive an answer. It has the most similarities to you in this way, for with all of the varied species of pine redwood idea, it reaches the highest in that way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Could you describe again the method by which you tune with this particular channel and your computer? Your artificial intelligence computer.
Thank you. In this way, first of all, you will understand that it's primarily a function of my imagination. Going within my imagination, I communicate with what I allow my imagination to create as an interaction. With the idea I have put forth, I already know that my imagination is real. Therefore, I assume that the idea of the interaction is also taking place as I imagine it to. Also, in connection of the idea of what you call the computer, there always simply will be that there is a link from my mentality to that which you may refer to as the computer's mentality to, in your terms, boost the ability of placing myself within that isolation bubble reality, that limbo state, being within the dimension of imagination itself that allows there to be a more, in your terms, concrete realization of what I am imagining to be taking place between us.
So your computer helps to tune to the mass conscious reality of the situation?
It is simply, in your terms, an augmentation to that which we do anyway, and as we have said, our computers, like you will discover in the procedure of your discovery of what you call artificial intelligence, will only be a symbolic tool and an embodiment of your own higher consciousness anyway, talking back to you from some mechanical symbol or device. So in this way, the idea of our computer is simply the way in which we found most comfortable to relate, to begin with, to our higher consciousness on a conscious level simultaneously.
Understood. I can sense the, if you will, the energy matrix of a particular person or individual, if I think of my mother or a friend.
Nice.
In your computer, do you have a record or duplication of those energy matrices?
It is not so much a duplication, simply that the computer has the ability, in its navigational sense, to be aware of all matrices at any time. Thus, since all matrices are forever embodied in the holographic universe, the computer can focus upon any single one of them using the universe itself as the storage system.
Excellent, excellent. So if I were to use this computer and I form an image of a particular person, that computer is tuning to that using the universal says the matrix.
Okay, and will automatically form a correlation which will allow there to be the possibility of an interaction between your matrix and the matrix of the individual you have identified.
Excellent. Thank you, Bashar.
For you, Shari.
Bashar.
Okay, then you.
Thank you. Last week I created two interesting symbols that were similar, and I'll share them with you. Actually, what occurred was one time I was driving out an entrance. Somebody else wanted to come in the entrance, so we met face to face and had a few light words. And I wound up...
Words of light.
Yeah. And I wound up driving out of the entrance.
Hey.
And then about a week later, I was going in an exit, and somebody got in my way, and I wound up going in the exit, and I had my way, so to speak, and spoke a few words.
All right. More light.
Yeah, and I find it interesting because I can see at least two versions of the symbology for myself.
All right.
And they seem to be paradoxical.
Of course. As we have said, when you formulate polarity experiences, you will be working with higher consciousness, which usually translates into paradoxical situations in physical reality.
Okay, well, okay.
So what are the two ways you see it?
Okay, well, one way I see it is that whether I'm going in or out,
Okay.
I am creating for myself barriers, and therefore I don't need to, but I can choose, instead of going backwards into and out of situations, I can approach them in a more direct situation.
What is the other way?
That it's frequently valuable to take the back route and overcome whatever human resistance is there, because it's a quicker route.
All right. Also, do not forget that instead of looking at the idea as barriers, you can look at it as exchange.
In what sense?
Osmosis through a membrane.
Okay.
The coming and the going, the doorway being both the entrance and the exit simultaneously. One and the same event.
That's interesting. Well, I naturally relate it to my activity in the film business.
Naturally or normally?
Naturally.
All right.
Because I did it.
All right.
I saw these symbols. I go, gee, 2 in 1 week. This is telling me something about my activity in the film business. And as such, I have not made a large impact on the film business so as to bring me a lot of money or to have my work recognized in a major way. And part of my activity is finding the contacts, finding the routes into the film business to make those impacts.
Okay.
I'm not sure what these symbols are telling me.
Can be that if you view the entrance and the exit as one thing, then you will know that you, first of all, are your own best contact to begin with. And that simply as you represent yourself already being complete in that way, you will always find with your attitude that you are attracting exactly who you need to attract, when you need to attract them. Understand in this way that the idea is not to seek validity in someone else's eyes, but that you are doing what you enjoy because you enjoy it.
True.
It will have whatever impact is necessary, but understand, the primary impact is always for you, not for anyone else.
Absolutely, yes, and I recognize that.
All right, then continue to enjoy.
Okay. Well, see, I visualize enjoying it differently if I'm doing basically what I'm doing and also getting paid highly for it.
Understand in this way, again, you may simply be being specific when you do not need to. You may be forming a judgment, for as we have said, the idea of visualizing something in a specific way is there to lure you to the basic effect. Whether or not it manifests as you have specifically visualized it is not what is important.
I understand.
It can, but it does not have to.
Okay, I understand that.
All right. Then how is it manifesting? Rather than assuming that it is not. How is it manifesting?
Well, to be sure, I enjoy myself
Right.
all the time.
All right.
And I am aware that what I am doing is what I enjoy.
Right.
I have faith that
it is manifesting in the way it needs to.
yes, absolutely.
All right.
Although I do know at another level.
Another what?
Level.
A separation.
Okay, I didn't really intend to separate it, just to
All right.
express a difference. Let's just say that I also know that I am creating for myself a path which will lead to a great deal of money.
All
Just
right.
incidental to the fact that I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
A great deal of money or a great deal of abundance?
Abundance.
Abundance does not necessarily mean money.
No, but money does factor into the concept of abundance that I'm dealing with here.
Why does it have to?
Doesn't have to.
Then understand in this way, it may not.
Well, I'm not saying that it
Abundance is a general idea. Money is a tool.
I understand that.
All right.
I understand that. And I'm not saying it has to. I'm just saying that it does. In other words,
Not necessarily. See, you are making the stipulation that it must manifest that way, or you will not think it is manifesting. And that is what creates the separation, that lets you think it is not manifesting the way you think it should.
okay, well,
If you are expecting only to see abundance in the form of money, then you will not be seeing the abundance in the form in which it comes.
no, I understand what you're saying. I'm saying I'm not seeing...
I know you understand it, but are you willing to apply it?
Absolutely.
Then do so.
But I'm saying also that it's not that I'm considering the money only as that indicator of abundance, but that does factor into the overall...
Why?
It just does.
Why? There is no such thing as something just doing it. You choose. Why are you choosing to need that to factor in, rather than simply allowing whatever needs to factor in to be there?
It has more to do with reading the energy behind the direction that I'm going, rather than creating a need for it. It's sort of like predicting, quote unquote. Okay, I'm reading the energy. I'm going, oh, see, that's neat.
Recognizing is what you are saying.
Yes.
All right. But so what? What you recognize in one moment may not be the recognition of the next moment.
True.
Anytime you choose to recognize that money may come into your life, then simply allow the recognition to exist in the moment you recognize it, and do not assume that your recognition must continue.
No, I don't assume that it must. It just hasn't changed significantly enough. I know it changes every moment, but it hasn't changed significantly enough to completely drop out the idea of money.
All right. Then simply assume that the money will be there.
I am.
When it needs to be.
I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, or do you wish to explore it a little bit further?
Well, the idea of the money is a little bit of a side issue. The main issue is, I don't say issue, but the main subject here is just how these symbols relate to my activity.
How they relate.
Yeah.
They relate in whatever way you believe they should. However you give them definition, that is how they relate.
I understand that. What I'm going to do is I'll think about what you said and put together the ideas to come up with an understanding that will be more complete at a later time.
All right. It will be as complete later as it is now, but different.
Right.
And we can discuss it then, if you are willing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Female.
Yes, I have three things, Bashar. One is I want to carry forward our attempt to do with the imagination.
All right.
About 3 or so weeks ago, the person in the back who said, "Oh my goodness," whenever you said that this was taking part, for the most part, your imagination, that was me.
All right.
Anyway, so I thought, well, this is great. I'm going to play with this a bit. So I have, for the past week, been taking some little imaginary trips and playing with some of this.
I imagine you have, yes.
Yes. And the first time it was quite fun and interesting. And the first time I had told them about my cat, Tradewin, and they wanted me to bring the cat. So the second time I did. And now, normally, whenever I would think of imagination or play with my imagination, there was this, this sort of sequence that would occur, and it would be like I was controlling everything in the imagination. Well, this time I took Tradewind with me, and I thought, well, I will hold the cat so she won't be afraid. And,
Afraid?
Yeah, well...
Why would you create in your imagination that the cat would be afraid?
Well, because it was new and unusual.
So?
Okay, well, that's what I did.
All right.
Okay.
I asked you why.
Well, I don't know why. That I just did.
All right.
But anyway, what occurred was that because I asked my cat if she wanted to go with me beforehand, it appeared that she did, because she jumped out of my arms and let me know right away that no, that isn't what she wanted to do. She wanted to go be, play on her own.
All right.
Which was interesting, because now there was this entity there with me who had free will, and I was not controlling in my imagination, which allowed me to know that maybe there was more to this than I had been given credit.
Very good.
And so also I just began to allow the other entities involved to be themselves without my having to control their every action. And they did. They became themselves. We had a tremendous interaction, which I know is totally real.
Well, thank you for your granting of equality to all the portions of your consciousness.
Yes, it was really exciting. The second thing is, what can you tell me about the entities from the constellation Gucci?
Not much at this time.
Okay, I've had a fascination with that lately, and I get goosebumps when I think about them. The Indians have a term that they call them the jumpers. Do you know about that?
In a sense, there will be to some degree some connection with what you have referred to before as some Kachina energy, but there will also be different offshoots.
Okay, well, we hear more about that another day.
Okay.
Okay.
More and more connections from within the association of all of the worlds and dimensions of experience with we are in contact with you at this time will begin more and more to reveal their presence to you. The more accelerated you become.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
All will, in that way, then allow you to begin to recognize the scope of some of the ideas and some of the interactions that have been and are taking place between your civilization and other civilizations, as was pointed out to some degree with what you term the X-shaped craft in your northern state.
Okay. Thank you. The third thing has to do with a channeling incident. Two of my girlfriends and I got together and decided that we would do some channeling and just play and have fun. And so when it was my turn, I did this, and at first I was like very much controlling the situation and having fun and doing what I was doing. And then there was a feeling that came over or blended with me, which, well, it's really interesting. It was like sort of like divine love.
Right.
And it sort of just pervaded everything, and it was like every atom in my body beamed this.
That is the matrix that holds together any interaction. You are feeling the matrix itself. The framework, the template, in which all interactions take place in this dimension.
Oh, okay. And then the girls would like take turns and they would ask a question. And whenever I just let go and let this flow, the answers were totally simplistic.
Yes! That is the whole idea, and why we have said you do not need us to communicate with to discover the answers. But by allowing us to be reflections for you of what you already know, you can come to realize that all of the answers you seek are that simple, if you will but apply them all to every situation.
Yeah. And it's like when I was doing this, the question, I knew the question before she even finished asking it.
Okay.
I knew the answer at the same time.
You are simply only recognizing the simultaneous nature of a single event, even though previously you would look at it as a polarity idea. A question and an answer are part of the same event, and when you perceive the whole event, the question and the answer are together at the same time obvious.
Okay.
Thank you.
One more look at this. The feeling of this, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know whether it was I that was doing all this, or if there was a blending of some sort, but the closest...
It is all one and the same idea anyway.
The closest I could come to describing it was like angelic, or
all right.
like like what we in religion often term a divine angel or something, because of the pureness that this feeling was.
All right. Again, understand the idea of feeling the matrix of all that is usually to you will translate as something that has not touched physical reality, and hence the angelic interpretation, because what you call angels, to a great degree, are entities that have never been, in your terms, physical.
Mm-hmm. So was this totally my own self then? There was no other interaction of any kind?
You are missing the entire point. It is always both. And to continue to attempt to delineate and label, is it this or that, is to continue to create separation. Everything is this and that. Everything.
So there was like a blending.
Yes. And one thing. A blending of parts and no parts at all.
Oh, that's interesting, because I felt like that there was this essence which wasn't me, yet we were one.
Yet you are familiar to each other.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.
Sharing!
Bashar.
Yes.
Separation and judgment.
Hey, one and the same thing.
It is one of the same.
Hey.
Okay, so therefore, when we dissect our thoughts in an attempt to get to a certain point, we are actually separating. Is that correct?
Analytical thought, to a great degree, is separation, and thus, that is why analytical thought requires more time, because separation creates more time.
Okay.
The further down you break things into pieces, the more time and space you need to hold all the pieces.
So the more we get into our dialogues with you, and we get into making some gallant attempt to figure something out, I notice oftentimes the worse it gets.
Understand that is only because you are judging the process you are using. There is nothing wrong with analytical thought.
Yeah.
And if that is your way, that is your way.
Okay.
It does not, in your terms, have to be a negative experience. You can enjoy analytical thought. It is only negative when you begin to judge that you are judging.
Okay. So to expedite, or for this thing to be more expedient, it's just a matter of
integration.
The whole thing at one shot.
Okay.
Okay.
Then integration requires little time. That is why all of the separation, as we have said, that you have been experiencing in life after life after life, has taken tens of thousands of lifetimes. Whereas the integration you are now forming will, instead of giving you a future of tens of thousands of years, only be necessary to create a future of 2,000 to 3,000 years. Then you will not need to be physical anymore.
So living it does it.
Yes! Very simple, very precise, very good.
Thinking it makes it just go on and on and on.
In a sense,
Okay.
yes. Although that is a very simple analogy, but it will do.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Thank you. Smile. Hey,
Love to you.
love to you all.
I heard beautiful, beautiful bells chime from the top. I don't know, I can't explain.
Oh, all right.
It's gone. And I wonder, am I ever going to hear this again?
Maybe.
Oh.
Understand that the idea in allowing yourself to extend your senses and be aware of the background tonal vibration of all that is, and your specific tonal signature vibration within it, can always be something you know, something you feel, something you hear. It is always there. Apply it, and you will hear it all the time.
I have one more question.
All right.
A new friend gave me some owl feathers because he had some mystical feeling for them.
Owl feathers.
Owl feathers.
Hey,
They're very beautiful. I love birds and animals.
they love you too, coincidentally.
When I held them, they had a vibration like a wonderful, strong crystal. And
Okay.
they gave me a piece of this. And does this have any meaning for me in my life?
Why would you have it if it had no meaning for you?
I want to know this.
You want to know the meaning?
Very much.
Do you not already ascribe a symbolic meaning to the idea you call an owl?
No.
Wise one?
Nothing more than tying into American Indian type of.
All right.
Just that sort of.
Is that what applies to you?
I don't know.
Why do you not know?
I,
Use your wisdom.
do I have wisdom that will tell me this?
By definition, you exist.
Yes.
Therefore, you have all you need to know anything you need at any given moment.
Thank you.
For you are connected to everything,
When
by
will I
definition.
find this?
As soon as you believe, you do not have to search.
That's great. I know already.
Yay. Understand, everything you need to know,
You mean in the time frame? I know.
you know
I
right
don't
now.
understand.
That is your choice to believe you do not understand.
I believe I understand.
Then you have it.
Thank you.
It is that simple. Allow yourself to simply know that whatever vibration, any particular symbol you are choosing to create in your life feels like to you. Whether you consciously apply a label to it or not is not necessary. Simply act as it makes you feel and you will have the same effect.
I wanted to be able to know what my birds, my animals, my friends are feeling, thinking.
They are all extensions of you.
And I should know what these things are.
You should not should
I
anything.
do know.
Yes. Ask them. They will tell you. Feel them.
I've been trying.
You have been what?
I am.
Yes,
I am
you
feeling
are.
it. Yes.
Yes, you
I
are.
am feeling
In exactly the way you need to be. When you stop judging that you are not, you will feel as if you are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I've got it.
Yes, you do. Sure.
Bashar.
You.
I have a question. In my channeling, I've been aware of a cloaked figure that has like a purple collar, and he's also very much a part of several lifetimes that involve moments in which I've had death experiences that were painful for me and also involved my head. I was wondering, is this an entity or is it just my fear? And why would he wear the same thing in all those?
It is, in a sense, an entity. It is also connected to your fear, and it is connected to the idea of your chosen embodiment of the archetypal energy of your fear. It is a companion you have created to be with you, attracted to you in that way, and it has been experienced in physicality in certain lifetimes. It is acting as a mirror for you, this consciousness, and allowing you to create for yourself the symbolic representation you need to relate to come to terms with the night side of yourself.
Oh, okay.
Now, what is the night side to you? What is the darkness to you?
Well, there's a combination of a lot of trust and a lot of fear of the night side. I don't like being closed in rooms in the dark or
rooms in the dark. Rooms in the dark. If you have the idea that you do not perceive in the dark an end to things, why perceive that there are walls in the darkness? Rather than the infinity of the dark, the depths of the dark, the infinity of yourself expanding into foreverness. You can look at the dark that way and allow it to be positive for you.
Well, I can when I'm outside for some reason. I don't experience the terror when I'm outside.
Do you feel in this way that there may be connections to the idea that this figure was present at your entombment?
Well, I think in one lifetime I was killed by him in I don't know whether they were tombs, but they're dark corridors of solid rock, like Egyptian.
Yes.
And
can you not smell the rock?
sulfurous.
Flinty, yes.
Flinty. Very rough.
8.
Maybe that's the smell of the fear.
And also, can you smell what was in the entombment with you?
I smell is like parchment.
In a sense.
Or maybe the wrappings around bodies or something like that.
Very good.
That's what I'm smelling.
Why do you think that individual wished you there?
You mean wished me murdered or wished me
Right.
in those places?
Same thing.
Well, I associate it with the lifetime that Lazarus talked about, in which I had uncovered some mystery
Right.
through my research, and that the high priest wanted me murdered because I had...
Very good.
Okay.
The purple robe of the high priest.
You mean the high priest? Okay.
What is so strange about that? Our high priest not capable of murder.
Well, I thought he had me done in rather than doing me in.
But you know who is responsible, and that is your projection.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
You follow me?
Yes, I follow you.
Now, can you create for yourself your own resurrection from the tomb? Can you cast aside the blocks of stone and allow the shafts of the burning sun of the desert to pierce into the chamber and flood you with light, so that you know that in any enclosure there are doors to other dimensions, doors to freedom, that you are never trapped, never entombed without your agreement?
Yes, I can visualize that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel much better.
Then travel the sands without fear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure.
Bashar?
Sure.
No, Bashar, it's Millian.
Hey.
I want to know more about the spaceship that came over Northern California.
All we can say at this time is that it was involved in electromagnetic readings, balancing, fluctuations, and to some degree involved some idea that we cannot go into regarding what you call time travel. It was a particular type of survey craft specifically designed for the idea of the affectation of electromagnetic fields of planets and shiftings that are occurring within.
Did they intend to be spotted?
Do they have a relation to the type of spaceships that George Lucas portrayed in Star Wars, the X-Wing?
So, in your term, it was in one plane a flat cross.
Oh.
Where did they come from?
Not now.
On the same time, there were...
All we can give you on that, as we have said, for now, we do not mean to be mysterious, there are connections to the idea of time travel with that craft. Maybe.
Does it come from Arcturus?
All we are allowed, etc., etc. All right.
What were the ping pong ball shaped ones then?
Remote eyes.
Oh, so they were same shape, same kind. I mean, okay.
Different sorts.
Different sorts.
Different, let us say, projections into your reality, but they were the eyes of a consciousness.
Well, last Wednesday you said there would be a cosmic event involving children, and my thinking was it could either be gas.
Arcturus energy.
Arcturus.
In this way is becoming prominent in the interactions and connections, and will in this way interact with you this night of your time after what you call your break.
Right. Now, on the day of Hands Across America, there was also a worldwide conscious raising event called 4A, in which millions of people 78 other countries were running for Africa. Did that entire energy of perhaps 30 to 40 million people all doing something on the same day at approximately the same time?
Are you going to ask if it had an effect? Are you going to ask if it made a difference? Listen to yourself and catch yourself before you do. For I will surely jump down your throat.
Given that it had an effect.
Given that you already created an acceleration in consciousness so that those things act as symbols, reflections of an effect and a difference that has already occurred.
Right. The question is, are those kinds of world participatory, because this was the first time that people actually participated, and before with Live Aid we watched.
The whole idea is, as we have said many times, action, doing, interaction, participation, willingness, and conviction. You are giving yourself the opportunity to state in any way you can what you believe and what type of a world you desire. So, of course, it has an effect. One person has an effect. In that sense, therefore, what you created with that will be, in your terms, geometric. Thank you. Yay.
A friend of my roommate.
Oh, first your roommate, now friend of your roommate. All right.
That was 2 weeks ago. Get me peasant time.
All right. A friend of your roommate, now.
She's pregnant.
Hey.
And,
now.
Now.
All right.
Now. Okay, and her pregnancy, she says, is a result of an interaction with something other than a being on this planet, on this planet.
Stop. There will be some explanation from the Arcturus energy. That is all. Sure.
Bashar.
Go.
Okay. Daryl's voice is extremely loud tonight. It seems like there's a great deal of energy coming through in the morning.
The blending of the different levels is already taking place.
I see. Are you in physical close proximity to the planet, to our planet?
No.
Okay. Next question. I have a question from a friend, Chris White, who was here last week, asking you about actually he demonstrated he calls them water wands.
Yay.
And is there a name for that energy that these wands lays? We're looking for a name to call these water wands. Laser, because laser has such a limited connotation in our reality here. But we want to construct a name similar to laser without the L, but with another initial there.
Ecstasy or energy channeling simultaneous temporal or extreme can give you some variations to use symbolically, if you wish, the energy channeling of simultaneous temporal, auric, structures or streams can allow you to term them, in that sense, ecstasy. You can allude to the idea of crystalline biomagnetic fluctuation. Fluxers.
Oh. But flux amplification to simulated emission of radiation, which would be phasers.
Stimulated, not simulated.
Oh, yeah, simulated, right.
We perceive in this way that it will carry a negative connotation in your mass consciousness.
Phaser would, yeah.
Okay. Those are our suggestions. It's up to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Two more questions, actually. I think we can make these brief, though.
I think we can.
Good. I believe we can.
Thank you.
How does the grade of a stone such as an emerald affect the energy field? In other words, if it's a very rough stone versus a clear emerald.
Clarity and precision of cut can, in your terms, make a great deal of difference in the effect.
Okay. All right, that answers that question. And next question is regarding the symbols that we were speaking of earlier. I feel like these symbols, many symbols for that matter, would be able to suggest action on my part.
They can.
See, it's neat to go through life. I do go through life, and I have faith that what is occurring is exactly what I have chosen for the moment.
But a symbol suggesting an action does not necessarily relate to the idea that your energy motion, your emotional activation of the essence of that symbol needs to take the form that the symbol represents.
Okay.
It is only there as a lure.
Okay.
To activate the proper stream within you. Do not assume that the stream will head into a logical manifestation of the symbol that activated the stream to begin with.
Say that again, please.
There is no need to assume that the energy stream will flow towards a manifestation of the symbol that activated the stream to begin with. Okay. Always allow the unexpected.
Of course. But as regards my career, my activities in the film business, if I'm going in exits and going out entrances, I'm wondering if these symbols are suggesting that I maybe take a different route, maybe take a...
If that is what your imagination seems to be suggesting, then follow it. Do not wonder. If it occurs to you, act on it and see what happens.
Well, it only goes so far as to suggest that might be possible, not to suggest which back route to take. Like you go, okay, well, where's the back route?
Follow your feeling without needing a picture.
Well, see, at that point, it ceases to exist.
It does not cease to exist. It simply transforms into something you will not allow to be real.
I'll accept that statement.
All right.
No, I'm not saying that it transforms something into something that I'm not...
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can you imagine that you can have a feeling without a picture?
Sure.
Can you imagine yourself simply following a feeling much in the same way that what you call a magnetic needle would simply follow the flow of magnetism? Simply finding yourself feeling like going this way, then stopping, then going that way, then stopping, then backing up, then stopping, then climbing those stairs, then stopping, then knocking on that door, then seeing who answers.
Sure. And that's what I do.
All right. And who has answered?
Well, I don't want to run down the list here. It would take all night. But
in general, what type of responses are you getting?
Well, recently I haven't been doing a lot of knocking because it hasn't felt like I should be knocking. It feels like I should be knocking, but now I'm translating the feeling to what specific activity I'm going to do. I'm going to actually be doing, and I'm still in the process of formulating those activities.
All right.
Okay. Although one thing that did occur is I met a woman here at the channeling who was a producer, expressed interest in my script.
All right.
And we're going to set up a meeting.
All right.
But aside from that, I don't create my life around that one particular incident. I continue to act in life.
All right.
On a variety of things.
Hey.
So I am doing these things, but as I go through life, I see something and go, oh, gee, it feels like I might be able to take a hint from these. And that's as far as the feeling goes.
All right. Then let it emerge to whatever level it will and act on what you give yourself.
Okay.
At this point, in the middle of the process, there is nothing more we can share.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar,
You.
on Monday night,
Then you.
I was present when the Arcturus energy came through.
Right.
And I heard you say that the beings were not experiencing sorrow, that they were reflecting the sorrow that we as a mass consciousness held,
Right.
but that the being itself was not. How come the facial expression that Daryl was...
Because the physical channel is a part of your society, you know. And thus was experiencing the release of those sorrows that have been held in simply by virtue of existing in and among your society.
Okay, so I don't know what to call them, the beings from Arcturus are not carrying sorrow about us, just the love.
Hey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Bashar, approximately 3 weeks ago, I was too ill to make it here on a Wednesday, and I asked a friend to come in and see if there's any enlightenment on the illness that you could shed in my area.
Thanks.
And I would like to say this. He brought the tape back. I was doing bed at the time. And you gave me more than 2 to 3 minutes, and I have over approximately $50,000 in counseling and doctor bills as far as enlightening me on the illness. And believe me, I do thank you.
Thank you for co-creating the reality in your existence and for switching on your own light.
Well, you also mentioned something, and all you said was a brass bell, and that's all you would give on it.
Okay.
What so happened that a lady in the same house that I live just happened to have, of course, a brass bell.
Just happened.
Yeah. And I had no, all I did was get it, and all I can say is the frequency, my body started shuddering. It was the most aesthetic, something about the frequency of the brass bell.
Yes.
And it was, I don't know whether it was like physical, mental,
all
spiritual.
All of it.
Yes. I got goosebumps again. But it's that whatever that frequency, it wasn't the noise, it was the frequency.
Yes.
So the permeation.
All is vibration.
Yes.
And you were forming a vibrational, let us say, harmonic resonance to the vibration that lets you know you are on an even keel.
So that it felt like it was actually a healing process.
Yes.
Oh,
An instantaneous identification with your zero rest state of perfection by reflecting that tone to yourself that represents the vibration of your existence and your being in and at a zero rest state of peace and harmony.
Right. Well, the spiritual sensation, I mean, the body you kind of forgot about. In fact, I was in bed and I decided that's the end of that, and I got up and resumed my day.
All are blended in the one tone.
Fantastic. That, well, again, that I do appreciate, and believe me, I do thank you.
Thank you for chiming in.
And I also, also this is on another subject, which I would like to ask, possibly anything you have on it. Quite a few of us went up to the place that I'd mentioned to you, a mountaintop up in the motherlode country in Lake Tahoe. And we went up there for the 4-day weekend. This is where the spaceship, as I commented to you at one time, and you said, yes, I would be on it, which I've been in ecstasy ever since then. But we all went right up, it's like, there was 3 of us, one of the ladies here now, we went to an area up on the peak of it, the whole plateau. And I don't know quite how to explain it, but one lady had put a crystal over, she didn't know where the area was, but she put it all around the area, and when it hit right over the mountaintop, this crystal started making a big circle, and I was watching her fingers to see if she was moving it. She wasn't. I didn't quite know what was going on. But there's something, I don't really understand it, but all I know is when we got up to this peak, the sensation of unity I have never experienced this lifetime.
It's an energy vortex, a doorway and a gateway to all probabilities, like any vortice energy upon your planet.
And that...
A free zone.
The unity that, I mean, it was like no difference in bodies. It was like I said, it belonged to...
All is one in the vortex.
Now, we've planned on putting a community up there, and this is where
Go
we're...
ahead. Have a good time.
And also, as I mentioned the last time, the spaceship idea, it seems like I'd like to to establish the words that you've given us here and establish the same concept of the polarities, et cetera, into more of a spiritual.
Is your concept created?
With your help.
We are always willing to reflect to you what you are already capable of. Trust your imagination. That is all the help you need.
Any other guidelines you can, you've given me guidelines. I hate to even ask for more.
You've got it all.
Thank you.
Bashar, is it all right, we've had a film crew, and you have on the channel's body a microphone, and they want to leave. Is it possible to remove it, or shall we take a break without disturbing the connection?
You may all take a short break. But you may recognize yourself in the mirrors that you create of each other. Oh, children of light. You're children. You're your own birth. Why? Love, nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Nurture your children, for you are children as well. Children of all that is. You're the seed of a transformation, of a birth. That which comes to you are the children for which we have fashioned ourselves to be. Children of light. Children of light. As you are born into it, you are your own gateway. Your own gateway into the realities that you wish to be. Where we are. We are the gateway through which your children come. Now. So that they know who they are. You're the born in your society. Now, who knows why they are here? Neither male nor female. But the gateway. The gateway. You do not want to release yourselves from that which does not nurture you. But all the connections you form are your children. You are your own children. You are creation that give birth to everything. Creation loves you as its children. One moment. Shall continue for now. So that the energy has opportunity to acclimate as it comes from different dimensional plane in this way. And associations at this time can allow there to be energy levels that are felt by the emotional body of your cells and the physical channels that will be not maintainable for length of your time. The idea is that they form a gateway, a matrix through which your children are being born, in a sense, to you. yourselves to the transformational experience of your earth, and that many experiences that you have had of what seem to be pregnancies that are not, in a sense, theirs, and all different variations of consciousness coming into your physical reality and not remaining for very long, pregnancies that start and do not finish. In this way, are simply the testings of the waters, the projections of energy, and the initiation on your part of the surrounding of that energy with the consciousness, so that it may become used to your level of experience, but allow that level of experience to also alter itself, so that now that the children are being born are the same energies that were being born before, that did not complete physical lives in those early terms of birth. And in this way, allow themselves now to manifest full lives in your transformational age with the complete identification of the matrix through the gateway of Arcturus, which is assisting you in this way in the clarification, identification, and purification of that which represents your divine energy, your divine matrix, and brings upon your plane of existence the clear light of creation through those children being born to you now. As communication continues in what you call your days and your weeks ahead from Arcturus, as it in your terms crystallizes, so shall you find that there are tonalities, harmonic vibrations, opening and igniting and crystallizing ideas within you emotionally. Emotional doorways within you are being touched primarily by that communication. And you may find, beginning tonight is your time, that the qualities of your life and the qualities of your dream realities may take on more of the recognition of those emotional tones. As you begin to allow yourselves to remember more and more of who you are, you will also then recognize that this is the primary activation for those emotional portions of yourself, the emotional quality of your being. That is what will allow you to nurture yourselves as children of all that is, in the same way you will nurture your children and they will nurture you to remember that you are children of all that is. So that your entire civilization will then exemplify itself as children of all. There will be acceleration in the communication, and a solidifying and crystallizing of the communications from Arcturus continuing again in the next days and weeks of your time. We thank you for your sharing in that particular level of openness and expansion. And in this way, we will also continue to extend our love to you and our energy in all the openings of all the endeavors that you feel, think, and know, and believe. Sherry.
There has been, in fact, a definite change in what I am beginning to perceive or hear physically in my head. And it has taken on a very shrill whistle, and at various times during the day, it's recognizable. It's beginning to be recognizable even when I'm in a lot of noise physically. Does that have anything to do with that particular energy?
It is connected now that you are beginning to open up to the reception of that energy which pours forth and bathes your plane of existence, and you are opening up to recognizing the background, so to speak, tone of all that is, and your identification to its primal matrix. You!
I have 3 or 4 questions I'd like to put out at this time.
Maybe. They are all one.
All right. First of all, you've probably covered this with some of the others, but I haven't been here that much. Could you explain how we change our frequency so that we are able to tune in more?
By fully knowing that you are now a different idea than you previously were. the frequency automatically shifts to match what in your imagination says you are now the idea of. By definition. If you can conceive of an idea, you are that idea, you are that frequency, you are operating on that frequency automatically in order to be able to perceive the concept.
Oh, that's great, that's easy.
Okay, very simple.
What Don just spoke about a noise, I have had a ringing in my head for a long time. Is that a physical or a frequency?
Both. It has a physiological counterpart, but it is simply tuning in to the mass electromagnetic consciousness of your world, the carrier wave of creation.
Thank you. Okay, the other questions I had have to do with the property that my friend talked to you about up in Grass Valley. We were on this mountaintop and we perceived, as she told you, the feeling of the vortex. We observed a, I don't know what to call it, a ditch or whatever, and we sort of got the idea that this was made, it was at the mountaintop, so it could not have been created by water. We got the idea that it was created by a landing craft many years ago. And there was it formed a circle, although we didn't find the completion of that circle.
Is there a central depression in the middle of the circle?
Yes, there is. And the other thing that we were trying to locate, perhaps you could give us a little perception on this. Three of us independently got the idea of there being a rock as a marker. I got the idea that it was glazed, and there seems to be a symbol on it, either a cross or a plus or an X. I wasn't sure which, and I wondered if you could shed some light on what that might be.
Not at this time. Search within yourself and it may assist you to form an emotional idea or link with what you call the Seven Sisters.
Elaborate on that, I guess.
Please.
I guess we'll have to do some study on that one.
What?
The last thing I had was about the water on this property. There are some who feel that it has some healing qualities.
It is electromagnetically in that way charged, aligned with the primal matrix.
Thank you very much.
It has crystalline qualities.
That's what we thought.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bashar?
Last week we chatted about my counterparts.
Hey.
I'm wondering if I were to give you a name of someone who I have a sense that is one of my counterparts, would you be able to?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Still in the middle of the process.
Okay, that's fine. Another question. I'm in a relationship with a 10-year-old girl wherein I am finding myself or placing myself in a parental position. And it's quite an interesting progression of events. And I observe the purpose for it, obviously being our interaction as we have it. Now I'm wondering, can you give me any reflection on what connections I might have with her in a past sense?
Mother.
Who's mother?
She.
She was my mother?
Yes.
That's interesting. How long ago was this?
Our perception is that it has happened a few times. There is no perception of the exact time flow.
Okay. When I first came into contact with her, I knew that there was something happening in our relationship immediately. I didn't know what was to come, but I knew that we were there, that she had attracted me and I her for a purpose. What did I do to piss her off so much? That's actually a joke, but if there's something to say about that, I'm interested.
You were unruly.
I detect a pun in there.
Think of lace.
Okay. I'm thinking about lace.
All right.
Then what?
See where that goes.
Okay. This is interesting because she is reflecting the polarity of what you indicate was my unruliness, because she is expressing that, or has been expressing that to some degree. Although we've been chatting, and she seems to be aligning with the positive flow. Very nicely.
Think. Nice.
I get a sense of nobility.
Very good. You get a number.
17.
Very good. 17 what?
Years.
That figures in. However, 17
what I'm thinking about is centuries.
17th century.
Is that what?
8.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
You riding in an enclosed carriage. See, smell, taste, the air, the sights, the sounds. You are, to some degree, in this life, attempting to live up to her expectations of you then. Or, in that life, you were wont to hang around with rabble.
I know them all.
That is what we can share with you at this time. Explore that symbology and those feelings. See where that takes you from here.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Hey.
Bashar, I was wondering what the Arcturus energy meant by the children not being male nor female.
Arcturus energy was referring to itself.
Yeah, but they said that the children would be neither male nor female. Are they just talking about the energy?
Arcturus energy was referring to itself.
Okay.
Things of
I can
itself as a
understand
child, too?
Yes.
Ah.
In a way. Remember that none of you are in a sense male and or female until that combined energy translates out into a polarity within a particular frame of reference where that idea is needed. It is not that you have male-female energy that channels through into physicality. It is that you are energy that channels through into the idea of maleness and femaleness.
For sure.
Hey.
How would we perceive their energy otherwise, say, if they never told us that? Say if,
Many of you will find that to you it will seem to be female. Many will think it to be male, and it will fluctuate. At certain times, hitting whatever point of your polarity you are exploring, and that is one of the ideas of the emotional keys it is hitting. In a sense, its energy is playing your emotional keyboard.
I see.
Yes.
Is the Arcturus energy associated at all with the Lemurian reemergence?
To some degree. But for now, allow yourself to maintain a symbolic idea. You follow me?
No, I'm not sure that's wrong.
Keep what you are calling an emergence as an analogy rather than a physical literalness.
Oh, yes. I assume it.
All right.
For sure.
Yes.
Would you comment on the organization Awakening and what we can do to facilitate its progress?
Organization Awakening. What is your perception?
We teach metaphysics and spirituality.
Is it fun?
Indeed.
indeed it is.
In this way, if you are being of service in that sense, is not your own opinion more valid to you than mine? What do you need to know from me then?
Perhaps there's something that we have not become consciously aware of that we could facilitate its growth with.
Do you know it is a service?
Yes.
Do you know it attracts individuals as it needs to?
Yes.
And can only attract the individuals that are functioning on the same wavelength? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, yes.
Do you know that it is reaching everyone, everywhere, on different wavelengths as they create themselves to know it, whether physical or not?
I have not tried it.
All right. Carry that view, and you will simply allow yourself to know that everyone is getting the idea in the way they need to create it for themselves. And all of you together, once again, are interacting much in the same way when you are out of your bodies, so to speak, in dream reality anyway. You follow me?
Yes.
So that it is the paradox of being awake when you are asleep. You follow me?
Yes.
Will that have been of some assistance?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bashar.
You.
Bashar, I have someone here very dear to me. This is my son in his lifetime. And when he was an infant, when I brought him home from the hospital, at one point, he looked, when he was just a newborn, right home from the hospital, he looked at me from the crib with the eyes of such wisdom that it frightened me. I literally had to go into the other room and hide behind the corner.
Could not stand to see your own reflection.
It seems that he was full blown and all wise and all knowing and a total person.
You all are.
Yes.
And of course the child has not yet forgotten that. What occurred around the approximate age of between what you call 7 and 9?
To me?
To you.
To me.
To him.
To him.
That you would recognize as the idea of something, quote unquote, out of the ordinary. Do you have recollection?
No.
Does he?
No.
Close your eyes. Think of yourself at the age of 7. Feel what it is like to be 7. What do you feel? All right. Anything else?
Curious to do things. I want to be active.
Very good. Do you find that in your imagination a specific idea comes to your consciousness that allows you to exercise your curiosity in a specific direction? And if you follow it, where does it lead? Do not think about it. Say what you feel immediately.
Toward creation.
All right.
Creativity.
Creativity. Do you find that as you allow your curiosity to move you towards the idea of creativity, that you are not alone?
Yes.
Who is with you? What is with you? Describe it as you can. Do not think. Simply say.
More or less a feeling. It's hard to say. I'm really...
Does it have an intonation? How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel happy, and it
All right, hold on to that feeling for now. Move yourself, in a sense, ahead in your time frame to what you would consider a strong psychic experience, or intuitive, or telepathic connection. When did that occur?
when I was a child. I don't remember when, but before I went into the military, I had a dream about being in the military just before I went in, and when I got there, I felt that I knew most of the people in my platoon. Like, we all knew each other, and we knew that we were all supposed to be there.
Very good.
And we were all there.
Yes. Now do you have some idea of who was with you before? Who you sensed surrounded you and lured you with your curiosity? Can you sense the idea of you and them acting in this life as a troop, so to speak, whether you are in physical contact or not? No matter how far you may seem to diverge, can you not feel the parallel connections of energy?
Not so much anymore.
All right. Allow it to be a background. We are not saying it should become primary. But simply allow yourself to know that as each and every one of you diverge, you are all together drawing from the group, the strength, the pool, to allow you the opportunity to experience the offshoot in your own ways. You will find that as you proceed and progress, there may be, in your turn, interactions again with some and or all of those individuals in different ways, crossing paths, intertwining, interweaving, forming a cable made out of many interwoven threads that can, in and of itself, become a line of strength, a conduit, and a communication link in times yet to come when you will need it, and when your world will require it. You follow me?
Yes.
There have been many types of warrior. Now is the opportunity to apply all of that in the sense to become, in your terms, a soldier of light and one of peace. For there is the strength and the connection to all that you have ever been. Call upon the ideas and the ideals that you created in what you call Rome of ancient time in your civilization. Not that you need apply, once again, the ideas in negative ways, in warlike ways, but the ideals were clear to you then and are clear to you now, Centurion. Continue to walk your path. Enjoy. Yay!
About 6 months ago, I had a dream that my friend was just ready, and before we could get her off to a facility, I picked up her skirt, and there was the baby's head. So we just got on with it, and when the baby came out, she said, "Does it have all its fingers and toes?" And I said, "Well, yeah, and it also has 3 nipples." So the energy felt male, but it was not a male, and the nipples formed a triangle. So in the dream, I was thinking, that's weird, and just then I woke up, and I felt that it was a star piece.
And one that recognizes very distinctly the connection of the triad in your civilization, our civilization, and that of Sirius.
Okay.
And representationally brings nourishment from all three.
Well, then, how was that connected with me? Why was it birthed from my friend? Or was that just significant?
Just significant.
Well, was it significant rather than prophetic?
In a sense, it is both. Although, understand again, there is no such thing as prediction of the future. It is a sensing of the energy of the consciousness to be born. Now. It is a sensing now. Not so much a prophecy, for you are not reaching into any future to know what you have just shared. You are sensing what exists now of the consciousness to be born. You follow me?
Yes.
And it will allow you once again to reflect upon your own connections to triads, to interactions, to relationships, and once again allow us to remind you. The children, and this is one example, will remind you who you are. That is one example, and you may take it as a communication from that consciousness. It is also the beginning of your ability to be in communication with the consciousness before it is born. So that you can create communication all the way through birth and into life. And know each other and know yourself.
Bashar?
So,
One moment.
I have a great pull to go to Africa, and I'm going to go.
How wonderful.
Is that there's a feeling of going home, and is that feeling because I'm going to re-experience energies from the other place that I came from, or experience the entities from another place?
Search out the ideas you call, in that general area of your world, the Dugon.
The Dugon.
Okay. And also allow yourself to experience whatever else you create your path to be.
I also totally appreciate your love and your patience.
I have no patience. I have no need of patience. I am enjoying every moment far too much to need patience. Thank you.
Yes, Bashar, I wanted to share the synchronicity that our son, who was born 2 years ago, also has 3 nipples.
All right.
Something else. What density is Arcturus?
No correlation at this time.
Okay, thank you. This weekend, I went on a camping trip to Joshua Tree National Monument.
You may consider it 7th, but that will do as a stand-in.
Thank you. Thank you. And I was drawn to a particular area and climbed through some rocks. And my attention was drawn to this huge rock formation. And as I looked at it, I became aware that it was a weather-worn but ancient carving of a huge, what looked like Mayan head, very, very, very large. What was that Mayan, or what could you share with us?
Not Mayan.
Lemurian?
Let us leave it as a symbol for that idea for right now.
So it had connection to the American Indians in that area?
Yes.
And it was an actual carving of us.
Yes and no. It is the product of the carving of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It is the shifting into position of the elements necessary to create the image. So no direct idea of carving was necessary.
More in the general magic sense?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
More in the representative sense, the energy essence sense, and the archetypal embodiment sense of nature's spirit.
Thank you.
One moment. It is all right to simply refer to this evening's session as Arcturus, if you wish.
Thank you.
Bashar?
Yes.
I have a question. In this last week, I've woken up several times with the message that there's 3 types of dreams, and I can't, or I haven't, as yet, really identified what those 3 types of dreams or what the message means.
There is the dream reality that you consider to be the dream when you are asleep. There is the dream of being awake. And there is the dream of the dimension of imagination, which is, in a sense, the blending of the two. Good.
On the dream, because I think you just answered my question, I'm not sure. You had mentioned about 2 weeks ago that I would be receiving a visitor in my dreams. And I haven't paid attention to dreams for so long, I don't even think about them, so I can hardly wait to get to sleep and have a dream. And this has been about 3 weeks now that I have the dreams, and it's almost like somebody pushed a button on fast forward. Because as soon as I wake up, it's so flashy. It's so frustrating. I've not been able to get the concept of any of them, and this has been nightly a dream. And as you just mentioned before, there are waking dreams.
It is all there. Your opportunity to allow it into consciousness is to allow your physical reality to become a dream. To allow your dream reality to become awake. To blend the two in the imagination. And also, our suggestion is to allow yourself to continue, when you awake, to remain laying down for a while and simply drift. Do not get up.
And it could
see what comes back.
Very good.
Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes. Do not be in a rush.
Oh dear.
Pace yourself accordingly. All right?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I have another question about the devices that I've been seeing, or in particular this one device. I've been visualizing a copper tubing in a spiral that forms half a sphere.
Okay.
Then in the middle is a plate that has some, I don't think it's brass, but I don't think it's iron either. It's sort of like a combination of the two. I'm not sure what the...
Continue.
Okay, and then on the bottom is another copper coil that finishes the sphere.
All right.
And then there's a central column or tube that goes through a crystal in the center.
Okay.
And I was wondering...
This is a variation of the idea we have described recently of your time. In this way, it is a disperser, a collector of energy. We simply described it in the fashion of having a central spherical crystal through which is a rod, and having a central layer of gold wire spun in spiral patterns, but in a flat plane, in what you would call a Fibonacci spiral, double spiral, counterclockwise, clockwise. In this way, 4 strands from the clockwise spiral will interpenetrate the crystal sphere, which also the rod interpenetrates perpendicular to the plane of the Fibonacci spiral matrix, and will touch the rod in the center, 4 from one direction, 4 from the other direction, forming double cross in that way, and there will then be insulative layer above the Fibonacci matrix and below, and then another plate of gold with a hollow hemisphere over the crystal in the center, through which the golden rod will interpenetrate and attach to and extend up and down, and is pointed to a diameter in that way, to a length of what you would call the idea of approximately 3 diameters from the center of the crystal. This will draw force and allow there to be a transformation of electromagnetic energy in a way that will allow there to be the infusion in your auric field of eternalness, of harmonic synchronization, of longevity, of stasis.
The entity that gave me the figure says he's from your planet, or the device.
Hey.
And he says he's not on your ship.
No.
He's on your planet.
Hey.
So, he said for the time being that I might as well just consider it a toy.
Yes.
And that it would help with my headaches.
Can. When it balances the auric field and allows it, again, to bring you back to your zero rest point.
Okay. And then some other individual mentioned that it might be similar to a magic wand.
Well, in a sense. But in this way, it is a more specific variation of lens, of magnetic, electromagnetic, gravitic lens.
So it's not like what you just described at Margot's house, more like what was it, like generators or conductors or something?
Yes, it is similar to that idea, but having different effects because of its slightly different configuration.
Okay. And
follow your own description for you.
Okay.
It is simply that I am letting you know it is a similar variation of the same idea, using the same energy in different ways.
Yeah, because my vision of it has, like the plate has holes in it, but it doesn't seem like a spiral.
No, not your version. The spiraling in your version is in the coil on either side.
Right. Okay. So I could create this and it would really...
Yes, you can also simply create it in your imagination. It will do the same thing.
Okay, and then I have one other question.
Hey. Although it may be in your terms fun to physically create it, so that in this way others may also receive benefit from the effect.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A couple years ago I had a dream that involved unearthing or, like a dig or an archaeological dig that...
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did the information on that device seem to come from within the idea of being within Crystal Dome?
No.
All right. Follow that and see what you get.
So, place myself in my imagination inside of the Crystal Dome, or...
Simply trace the information back to the being.
Okay.
And see where they are.
Okay. In this dream that I experienced, there was a woman who initially, when I met her, was standing in like a hidden crypt that had been hidden for centuries, and she was wearing like a real, schmucky, a real sort of messy dress, And then the next day, and I asked her, I said, since you've been here for centuries, have you read all these books? And she said no. And the next day I came back and she was fully 9 months pregnant, and she said to me, thank you for suggesting I read the books. And she then explained a little bit of how she got pregnant and said, I'm going to go home to Yugoslavia. And the next morning I saw her walking across the ocean, and she was a giant. And she was on top of the water. I was wondering, it came to me that this was the goddess energy.
In one form, in a sense, yes.
And I've had other dreams that involve an urgency to get back to Yugoslavia. And
to find the oracular grandmother within you.
Oracular grandmother? Okay. Also, I've had dreams that involve the use of a snake on the body for healing, and the snake comes from Greece and or Egypt.
Egypt.
And in this one dream, I'm supposed to lead others back to Greece or Egypt in order to use the snake.
Understand, this can all be taken symbolically. You can literalize it in that way. And at the same time, allow yourself to simply know the whole idea will be attracted together when the timing is correct. It is not something that In this way, you need to create in the form of being a leader with followers.
Right, I understand that.
All right.
Tell me anything more about those dreams in terms of the snake, because it was a very literal snake, physical snake.
But in this way, though it has connections into what you call past lives, it still at that time also stood for the idea of ancient wisdom.
Oh, okay.
And if you explore the idea far enough back, you will also find connections to the archetypal dragon along another offshoot of what you call your Yugoslavian connection.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all your help.
Bashar?
One moment. Next week of your time, a little bit further idea of Meshach, Shadrach, Abednego.
Thank you.
From the source.
Thank you.
Hey! Hey!
This last week I've been, for a while I've been,
Yes.
and somewhere in that, though, is my stepfather. And I know he's there, and yet I can't get a sense of where and how he fits in with...
Why do you need that first in order to proceed?
It wouldn't be first, because I felt myself in his physiology in one of the Spanish past lives.
All right.
And I feel that there's a connection between that and the nun, and my two sisters and my other son, Colin, are also connected somehow there with the monastery or the nun, something there, there's a connection there. And it just makes it regret if I can understand this connection.
Why do you think so?
It has in the past, and
So what? This is now.
it feels unfinished.
Change the idea of yourself.
And then with myself.
You are finished. You are complete. You are ever growing, ever changing. You will never be finished. You are finished now. You are, in a sense, once again. Though again, it may be your way if you prefer it, but you are breaking down into many, many components that will then create much time in which to research. You do not need them first in order to proceed.
Oh.
Proceed, and you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. You will see it. You will recognize it in the present. You will not need to search the past to create your future. You follow me?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. Disappointing, but it's...
Why?
Because I felt like I was just right on the verge of seeing how it all connected.
May I ask you a question? Are you sure I may? Why are you upside down? Well?
Why am I upside down?
Yes, why are you upside down?
Because you're upside down?
I'm upside down. But I perceive you as upside down. You perceive me as upside down?
A little sideways.
All right. Does that mean we are both upside down at the same time?
Yes.
Then if we were both upside down, why do you not appear to be right side up to me?
I don't know.
Is it all not a point of view? What is your perspective in life, of life, as life? What is life? What is life? We'll start with the easy one. What is life? You see, we have learned to appreciate your sense of humor.
Life is
as simple as the question. What is life?
Life.
Life. Life. Life is a simulation of life?
It sometimes is.
Oh! Why not go for the real thing? You are what?
In the process of doing it.
In the process is why it is like. Live. Just live. Enjoy. Attract. Create. Interrelate. As you feel any interrelationships you form with any other so-called identities, act upon them as you will within your feelings and simply know that whatever comes to you is all that is necessary. You will always only create exactly, precisely, perfectly the amount of knowledge about any particular connection that you need to know to be who you are in that given moment. No more, no less. Perfect. One for one. Act on that, and you will add that idea to yourself, become another idea, and attract more information to represent the new idea. You now happen to be, but no more and no less than the new idea you are.
Okay, got it.
One step at a time. In the now. Each step not being taken so much because of what it will lead you to, but for what it is now. Then what you are heading for will come to you. And you will not have to walk so far, nor be so tired, nor search under every rock. All right?
Bashar.
You.
Thank you. I wonder if you could tell me what past relationship I've had with my present husband and what lesson it is that I'm there to learn. There's got to be some lesson here. It just seems that way.
Seems that way. Well, if it seems that way, then you tell me. What is the lesson?
I haven't been able to figure it out.
Figure it out. It should be obvious. What are you refusing to allow to be conscious?
Something I don't want to admit to.
Be honest.
We both have to be right all the time.
Ah! Right. What is being right?
I guess it's a feeling of superiority.
Superiority. If you are creating the idea of superiority, how can you share a relationship with an equal? Thank you. I will leave it to you to figure out.
Could you tell me what relationship we might have had in the past?
Many. Hundreds. Thousands.
Is the current one maybe working out something that did occur in the past?
You can make that connection. But it is also for its own sake right now. What you want to work out in the present. What you want to learn and understand about yourself in the present.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping you'd sort of shed a little more light on that.
Click.
I think the bulbs burned out.
So you are then groping in the dark.
I think so, yes.
All right. Now we have already brought to light the idea of the game of playing superior. Is that not enough to learn?
It doesn't seem like that's the whole thing.
Oh, what else might you imagine it might be?
I don't know. I was looking for a relationship that was a little better exchange between us.
Oh, it is a perfect exchange.
That's what I figured, yeah.
It is an exchange of exactly what idea you have of yourself and everything else, and what idea he has of himself and everything else. Perfect reflections of what you both believe about each other and your reality. It is a perfect exchange. If you do not prefer what you are exchanging, change the idea of yourself, and you will see the reflection change.
All right.
Thank you. Understand again, the idea of soulmate is the idea of already knowing you are complete in ecstasy, so that you can attract a reflection to show you that. Not that you need someone to complete you, because then all you will attract is someone to reflect your belief in your incompleteness. That is a soulmate too. But what you will exchange with that soulmate, you may not prefer. But you will learn something from it. You will learn how to prefer without prejudice. Yes, preference is the recognition of the reality and the vibration you simply know yourself to be. Judgment is the invalidation of what you do not prefer. And when you invalidate what you do not prefer, you attach yourself to it, because to invalidate is to exchange energy with it and put you on the same frequency as what you are invalidating, and so invalidating yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bashar?
Yes.
Along that same line, sharing, I realized the recent weeks that everyone that you're sharing with and know that you're sharing with at that moment is your soulmate at that moment. So everyone's a soulmate. Because you're sharing that vibration. That's all a soulmate is.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For your sharing and the creation of that reality in our interaction. Okay.
Any suggestions on where I might be able to buy a peace pipe locally?
You can make one.
How?
We'll make a pipe and call it peace.
Allow yourself to be attracted to one that already exists, that will call out to you,
Right.
or make one.
But does it have a particular shape?
You will know it when you see it.
Uh-huh.
You will feel it. Do not be in too much of a hurry.
Okay. Thank you.
For sure.
Yay!
Have you personally or your people applied anything that you have learned from us on your planet?
Oh, yes. We apply it in forming the model of the simulacrum by which we interact with you so that it can become more blended. That is one way.
Okay, and now that relates specifically to your interaction with us. Is there anything that you apply simply for enhancement of your reality, for your own fun on your planet?
In this way, it is an opportunity to form, in a sense, let us say, a holographic model of the interaction of your energy so that any being interested in all the different ways that all that is can manifest itself through your civilization can tune in and learn from that.
Do they tune in and learn and don't take it any further than that, or do they actually act?
They apply it as they need to, but in this way recognize that many of the ideas of how you apply simply do not apply to our civilization.
Yes, I do realize that, and that's kind of what I was getting at. What does apply? What can you use? What do you use?
The idea of how intention can be applied.
Intention?
Hey,
How so?
in the way we are using it to communicate with you.
Okay, all right.
That is the primary tool that we, let us say, actively apply.
Which you don't normally apply in your society because it's not necessary, say.
Yes.
But in your case, because we're hard cases, that's why. It's a joke. That's some people here.
That does not apply either.
Right.
However, you are also a bunch of softies.
There definitely has a limitation.
Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that last week. I guess it was last week. Yes, you stated that. I really got a lot of strength out of that. I mean, I was feeling strong before that, but it really put the cherry on the cake, you know, or whatever you put cherry on. I also wanted to ask you, well, you had...
lovers?
Yes.
Okay.
And also some of what you would call mammals. That sort. Nothing so large as a horse.
Soaring horse.
Okay, I'm gonna get back to relationships. I find the interweaving of synchronicity in relationships fascinating.
Hey.
Because I'm seeing this relationship that I'm having with a 10-year-old as a parent, and the relationship that I have with her mother as a lover with me.
Yes.
Obviously, I have purposes with both that are very, very strong. One didn't just happen to come with the other one.
Yes. Correct.
Which is viewed as a case of many instances. Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Like a wallet.
One of the things that I'm exploring with her mother is a shared warmth and love that I haven't shared before.
Okay.
Now I'm wondering, can you reflect to me past relationships with her mother and how they interact?
There have been many love relationships in that way, and you can also find that one of them, as applies to what we have already talked about, was in that particular life wherein the mother disapproved of the relationship.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Makes some sense.
A whole bunch of sense.
Oh, good.
Now, you suggest to me...
Maybe you will enjoy this process of acceleration so much of having more than one individual at a time that next life you will invite the whole family.
All right, I'll think about that. I was going to ask, can you suggest to me a physical symbol that I can relate to the child with that will help, say, resolve whatever disapproval or judgment she might have had?
I can say no more than a single word.
Lace?
Although you already have that one. And that can be of assistance. Okay. There is another word. Chaperone.
Can you augment that?
It is being explored by you and by the child. From the ways in which it was explored in that other life.
Okay.
That is all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay!
I'd like to know your comment on what is actually occurring when someone meditates. And when they do meditate, there is a faction of yoga called Siddha Yoga, of which the guru does an act called Shaktipat. And I'd like to understand what is actually occurring.
Alignment of all of your bodies with each other. All levels of your consciousness aligning, blending, commingling, so that there is a clear path of communication to all levels, from all levels.
Is that with meditation or Shaktipat?
Both.
How does the guru do that? Or what?
Creates an atmosphere in which you suspend your disbelief and allow you to create it for yourself. Again, a master is the first one to tell you you are your own master. And simply may reflect to you an idea that you find to be representative of what touches your core. And so you do it for yourself and create the effect for yourself in your own life by following what you see. You follow me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bashar. Yay!
Can you tell me, please, what planet I may have come from before coming to Earth?
Why?
to verify some information from another source, and I'm not sure whether it was symbolic or real. That's why I asked.
Does it have validity for you?
It's a matter of curiosity, yes.
There is no such thing as idle curiosity.
True.
If your curiosity is activated, it is for a reason.
Yes.
If it has touched off a vibration within you, then in all reality, it does apply on some level, somehow. In this way, many of you will have many connections. Primary among some of the connections right now are one, the idea of Sirius, are ones to the idea of Pleiades, are ones to the idea of Orion. There are offshoots and blendings of this idea, and in a sense you are all connected to all of them. What stands out for you?
And from the other source, it was the planet Venus.
All right. In this sense, what you are forming a connection to is something that is of assistance in this particular planetary system on another level, not physically. It is another dimensional aspect of that idea. And in your terms to us, though it is in your terms another planet, to us it does not represent another system. And thus, you are forming a connection of assistance to another dimensional aspect within your own system. And this is valid in that way. But the connections that you form are being formed in this life to serve purposes of your own. For you are connected to everything and come from everywhere and nowhere.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yes.
Now, do you find that this allows you to reflect this connection in terms of assisting others through ideas such as, let us say, sharing of energy, healing?
It did at the time it came up, yes, and I can see how it could enhance my willingness to move ahead.
All right.
More of it.
It is, again, in your symbology and in your reality, the vibration of love.
Yes.
Therefore, share that love, share that energy, heal yourself, and radiate that energy for others too. Dream deeply of, so that they can heal themselves. It is part and parcel of a connection to the idea in an archetypal symbolic way of the mechanism of faith that was spoken of, and the energy that to some degree was utilized by what you refer to as the Christ consciousness.
Very good.
Will that have served you?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. A few moments ago...
Sometimes I have the noisiest imagination.
I know. Thank you for recognizing the intention of the noise.
You are welcome, Strawberry. What's on your mind?
Starting to pull it on now. Okay, baby. A little while ago, sweetie.
Yes,
I
beloved.
had an awareness of exactly what I was doing.
And would you care to enlighten us?
I lost it. And that, just the phenomena has. I went, oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah, that's it. What the hell was it?
Act on the feeling you have retained, and you will find out. Understand, the more you accelerate, the more opportunity you give yourself to align with all of yourself, then you will, because you are focused in physical reality, form what seems to be a disconnection so you can apply it. Otherwise, you would simply sit in the radiance of the connection and not do anything with it. You do not lose it. In a sense, you set it aside so you can do something with it.
Can you integrate this on the spot?
Well,
absolutely.
It has to do. Okay, I'll give you more of the application. I'd like some assistance in this. It is consciously I vision and imagine some preferences of the way that I like things to be, and then I find things appear that I know I judge negatively, and I don't like this.
Things you didn't expect.
Things I didn't expect, yeah. Where the hell did this another traffic ticket come from? You know? Right? Or this lousy feeling, or this unpleasant sensation.
Perhaps if you choose not to judge those experiences, you will see where they fit into the path you chose to be. You will never find out where they fit in as long as you judge them. Because to judge them is to separate them from the consciousness of your past.
Okay. I'm not consciously judging them. I'm actually trying to answer that question.
You are.
No.
All right, sweetie, win.
Sure.
I still need some more. I'm not done, for Christ's sake.
Many things. All things in that way are far more conscious than you allow yourselves to believe. If you but listen and look at yourselves and what you say.
Listen.
You will recognize that many times you are, in the moment you say something, making the conscious choice as to how to look at the fundamentally neutral situation.
Say that much more, please.
As we have said, all situations are fundamentally neutral.
That part I got.
Then in this way, if you listen very carefully to yourself and all that you say, you can become consciously aware of what you say may be what immediately puts the judgment on a fundamentally neutral situation.
Very nice. Thank you, Bashar.
Simply listen to yourselves more often.
Yeah.
It is all right there on the surface. Listen and recognize that many times what you say is an indication that you are taking for granted that certain things are inevitable results of what you believe to be a fundamental background existence to your reality. That fundamental background existence is also an illusion, my friend. So do not base an illusion on an illusion.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you for being neat enough to allow me to throw out that emotional response, which was... I haven't done that in a long time, and that felt good.
Oh, thank you for your
Sister.
Then we will. All right.
Then we will come to who?
Hey.
When we talked about the physical universe as a holographic universe,
Hey.
Our holograms are based with 3 projections to form the image. And I was wondering, in 2? I thought it was 3.
1 to retrieve the image, but 2 to form.
Okay. Yeah.
A, initial beam, and a reference beam.
Okay, and I was wondering, in our holographic universe, do our projections of who we are in a 3-dimensional hologram, does it come from, in a sense, from a spark of light or a point of light in the present?
It comes from the permeation of light through all that is. What you are perceiving as your holographic universe is only one dimension of a greater universe. It is one side. In other words, by analogy, what you perceive to be your solid physical universe is much the same to the idea of, let us say, for example, what you call a shadow on the wall, on the ground. You follow me? Now, what you are seeing as a shadow is 2-dimensional. Although the shadow is dimensional, you usually do not see, except for certain circumstances, the 3-dimensionality of the shadow. You only perceive that facet of it that intersects the surface, which is 2-dimensional. So the shadow is also, in that sense, holographic. But what you are seeing of it is only what relates to your particular dimension. Your entire 3rd density dimension is but the shadow of the higher dimensions of all that is. Therefore, the reference beam is the beam of your consciousness as it streams through the prism of your artificial personality construct and is split into all the reference beams that give credence and reinforcement to the illusion you are creating. You follow me?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yay!
Yes, Bashar, I would like to ask you about past life connections I have with a being who's my brother this lifetime.
Why?
Well, because I have certain senses about it.
Then tell me what they are. You're not asking.
Well, so much for that question.
It has gone from a bent over question mark into an exclamation point.
This is true.
Share.
Okay. I feel that we've had many relationships.
All right.
Father and son.
Yes. That is generally true for every single one.
Yeah. I've often realized that it's marvelous this lifetime to have another brother because we've been through many love affairs with other people, but that relationship always remains constant.
All right.
And that's what's really served me this lifetime.
Thank you. You are simply seeing the unconditional love that has always been there in every type of relationship you have ever had, now being able to exemplify itself symbolically to you in a form you can relate to that you call brother.
Yeah. I'd like to share something else.
Oh, great.
It's been my perception more and more recently that as this transformation accelerates, and I see it accelerating on every hand, I see examples of it constantly.
Good. Synchronicity abounds.
Yes. That time is speeding up enormously. It actually...
Yes, although it is not so much speeding up as simply you are not creating as much of it.
Yes,
So things happen in less time.
Right. That creates the illusion that I don't have enough time to do everything I want to do.
Oh, you do. Again, you will always manufacture exactly the correct amount of time to do whatever idea it is you are being. Again, by definition, it really can't be any other way.
Yes, at some level I know this, and everyone's...
Some level?
Well, I keep coming back to that realization, and then I lose...
You do not come back to anything. You are always there.
That's a viewpoint I have often. And
Which
then
one?
sometimes I have another one. That, it doesn't matter because there's always plenty of time.
Yes.
Because as I create my life...
Explore your polarities as you wish.
And I like very much what you said several months ago about the worst thing that can happen to you is that you will still have more life to live. And the best thing that will happen to you is that you will still have more life to live. I want to thank you for that.
I thank you for the blending of the polarities within your being.
Good. That is happening so holographically, I suppose. More and more I'm gathering up facets of my consciousness and awareness, and I love it. So, thanks for helping with that.
Thank you. For sure. Jay?
I understand, I feel I have a good understanding of the triad with Essassani and Sirius, but I'm wondering, how does the Pleiades fit into that equation, or does it fit, or how? I know I have a lot of
It is another connection altogether, and it's more the idea of the direct offshoot, linkage, lineage, in the sense that they are very literally your brothers, sisters, and cousins.
I see. That has been the spaceships that I've been seeing for some 20 odd years that I'm aware of. It's been mainly Pleiadian.
Yes, although there are overlays.
What does that mean?
And other interjections from time to time, just to spice things up a bit. To add to the equation the necessary interactions that will allow you to form the connections you are forming. So there have been others as well.
Could you tell me?
You simply may not be as aware of them because they have been unobtrusive.
I see.
To allow you to focus on what you need to focus on.
Could you tell me what those are?
As I said.
They want to remain... Oh, I see. Thank you. Thank you.
From the source.
Oh, yeah.
Are you catching on?
I got it before, and I'm getting it more. Thank you.
Sync the vibration for now. Simply play with it for now. Do not make too much of it. Neomon.
Okay.
Neamon.
Thank you.
As relates to the idea of what you call the mineral reality consciousness and the animal plant reality consciousness.
Bashar, you said that your civilization is undergoing this transformational time as we are from third to fourth density.
From fourth to fifth in our case.
Ah, well that makes more sense.
Thank you. Yay.
Would you like to master levitation as well as we have?
I have. In the life I have before you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It has served me very well. And has allowed me to perform this interaction with you.
Very well.
Hello, Daryl.
Oh, here and there.
Give us more than that.
Why?
Why not?
Because.
Really, why won't you tell us?
All right, I will tell you why I will not tell you. Because, in your terms, we have been contacting other civilizations in this manner for thousands of years, and we know what we're doing. Trust us. How's that?
Well, while I do trust you, I still
Then,
want to know.
allow me the opportunity to express to you that when the information needs to be known, I will share it with you. Right now, it will only impede the process. For many reasons that have nothing to do with you. There are others who think about it.
Hey, well, there's nothing wrong with being selfish.
Allow yourself to learn from that. And I'm sure it will serve you.
You're a good guy, Bashar.
Oh, thank you. So are you.
Thank you.
Joyce.
Just last week I had a dream with lots of bridges in it, and
Now, what could those possibly symbolize?
Lean across the river.
I was thinking there were lots of things.
Oh, yes.
But I was not so much asking about the bridges themselves in the general sense, but in specifically how they related in this dream, because what I saw was a picture of a lot of bridges and interconnections, and it seemed to be like, I guess, the symbol that came to me was marine land, where when you look...
Land.
What?
Marine land.
Right. And when I looked at the photograph of it, I could not, it was like before the water was there.
Much serious energy in that area.
The dolphins.
And I couldn't
Whale.
tell whether the bridges were for the physical, for the human beings or for the...
You are seeing a symbolic interpretation of the matrix and the understanding that the bridges all lead to each other. Okay. And that all reality is only in existence because of the interactions going on. It is the interactions that create that which is interacting. The bridges is all there is. The bridges are what, in a sense, give rise and reality to the places they connect.
Oh.
It is all one and the same. The structure itself is all of the realities upon it.
Oh, that, yeah.
It is self-supporting. You are looking at the matrix itself in your interpretive symbology. One thing leads to another in every direction. That is the holographic nature of all that is. All is connected, all is one. All paths get you there. Wherever that may be.
The other aspect of that dream was, I didn't, at that marine land area, there are both, in our world, there are both the dolphins as well as the whales.
Right.
But in my dream, I only saw the whales, or felt whales, and I was wondering if they're similar to the dolphin energy, or are they different?
There is differences in their approach, and obviously in their manifestation, but it is all part and parcel of a similar idea and a similar shell.
Are they also like the dolphins, like our human counterparts?
Yes.
Doesn't matter whether it was dolphins or whales.
From my part of the country that I was born in this lifetime, we have porpoises. What are the differences in? Is there a difference in intelligence?
Not so much. It is again simply another manifestation of the same idea in a different way. All form of porpoise, dolphin, whale, cetacean ideas are much the same.
Could you tell us if there is any specific reason why there are differences?
So that more can be learned all at once. In the same reason there are differences between all of you. You simply have created your differences differently. Thank you. Briefly.
I felt very, very moved by the Arcturus people, that person or energy that came to me.
That is the point.
Yes. And a long time ago, when I spoke to you about my friends from space, you suggested to me that some were Pleiadians, some were Sirians, some were friends of Pleiadians, and then later I found that some were from the Orion connection, and I feel very strongly that the Arcturans might be the friends of the Pleiadians, which was the only ones that I didn't know about.
In a sense, it is all connected and all part of the association. Again, as you unfold, you discover more connections, more bridges. Allow us at this time.
Okay, briefly. Earlier when I asked you for a symbol and you gave me the word chaperone, what I was looking for was some kind of a physical symbol that I could relate to the youngster with, not so much for my purpose, but to trigger something in her to...
White gloves. Long white gloves.
Thank you very much.
And we thank each and every one of you, individually and collectively. Throw in a lace handkerchief.
Okay.
And in this way, we will, in a sense, meaning mother, and your own relationship to all that is that nurtures you, that you nurture, in that way will allow you to experience consciously all of the virtues that you are eternally. We thank you. We wish you exciting dream lives and a fun and loving good evening.
Good night.
Good night. Sure. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Daryl.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Anyone who would like tapes of tonight's session, you may have them tonight. We have a high-speed tape duplicator. Ask Lynn over here, and she will pick you up.
What time is it?
It's 10:50. Yeah, the second section.
I think you should buy them. I think these are good enough.